Imagine a situation where sacrificing a few individuals could bring immense happiness to many. What would you do? Yes, utilitarian justice can indeed neglect individual claims. At its core, utilitarianism, often summarized as seeking the greatest good for the greatest number, evaluates actions and policies based on their overall consequences, particularly the sum of happiness or well-being they produce. The fundamental reason for this potential neglect lies in its aggregate nature. Classical utilitarianism, as theorized by figures like Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill, focuses on maximizing total utility across a population. This means that if an action causes a small amount of suffering to a few, but generates a significantly larger amount of happiness for many others, the action would be considered morally right from a purely utilitarian standpoint. Individual rights or deeply held personal interests can be overridden if doing so serves a perceived greater good for the majority, leading to what critics call the tyranny of the majority. To address this challenge, later utilitarian thinkers developed concepts like rule utilitarianism. Instead of judging each individual act, rule utilitarianism evaluates the utility of general rules or policies. The idea is that if upholding certain rules, such as protecting individual rights, generally leads to a greater overall utility in the long run, then those rules should be followed, even if breaking them in a specific instance might seem to yield a better immediate outcome. This provides a framework for integrating individual protections within a utilitarian approach, albeit indirectly. This introduces a crucial distinction within philosophical debate: act utilitarianism versus rule utilitarianism. Act utilitarianism looks at the consequences of specific actions, while rule utilitarianism considers the consequences of generally following a rule. Another important concept is rights-based liberalism, which typically places individual claims, such as fundamental human rights, as prior and not subject to utilitarian calculation. This foundational difference highlights why the question of individual neglect remains a central point of contention. Ultimately, the tension between maximizing collective well-being and safeguarding individual claims is a defining feature of justice theories. While utilitarianism offers a powerful framework for thinking about societal benefit, its susceptibility to potentially overriding individual interests prompts ongoing philosophical discussions about how to construct a robust and equitable system of justice that balances both the common good and the dignity of each person.